I'm Jack from Jack Bells Photography, and today I'm going to do a dive review, a gear review of the Suunto Vyper dive computer. I've had this for a year and done about 350 dives with it, so it's time to give you my thoughts. And I'll be covering a quick overview, some of the key features for diving, some of the features that are not so useful, some of the things to look out for, and my final thoughts. Overview. The Suunto Vyper is a dedicated wrist mount computer. As you can see from the photo, comparing it to the Suunto D4i, it's quite a lot larger and not suitable for everyday use as a watch. There's an optional pressure sensor, which I personally find useful, and it's got a 4-button control, which make it easy to use and configure the way you want it. Now, I've been using it for about 12 months now, and I've done about 350 dives with it. So my review is going to be based upon my experience so far. What are the key features for diving? Well, I think it's a good size. So the numbers are actually very easy to see underwater. There is an optional dive light, and that is very effective underwater as well. The screen is luminescent, so if you shine your light on, then after a few seconds you'll be able to see your dive computer details at night very, very easily. So if you can't find the light, you just shine your torch onto it, and that makes it very easy. It's got the key dive modes for recreational diving, so if you want to change to nitrox, it's very easy to change your nitrox settings under the time. Also, I really like the integration with the transmitter. It means I can see all the key information on the computer itself, and I think the pressure from the transmitter is actually much more accurate than the gauge. Also, the gauges can act as a backup, but typically I have to replace those every 1.5 to 2 years, so about 400 to 500 dives. So which features aren't so useful? Here is the Suunto computer. By pressing this button, you can make the compass appear. Now I have to calibrate it, but I'm going to press so you can see it's not calibrated inside, so you can see the compass working. So if at the beginning of each dive you work out which way takes you to deep water, which way takes you down to the starting point, if you mostly follow the dive guide and only need a compass occasionally, then this is a good feature. You can change the amount of time, length of time that the compass will stay active, which should give you enough time to navigate, and you can easily press the button to make the compass reappear. If you're a regular navigator, so if you're working something like a dive guide, then my preference really is to have a dedicated compass like this, sat right next to the computer on the arm, and then you can quickly refer to it any time. And then it becomes tiring to keep on having to press the button to find it. The other optional feature, which can be useful, is the ability to download your dive details onto a computer. I quite like that because it's easy to see the key details of your dive. However, if you do a lot of diving, then I find that the use of the cable is limited. So my cable worked reliably for a couple of 100 dives and then didn't work very well. So something to do with the contacts. So that's something to look out for. So what do you need to look out for? Number one on the list is reliability. I've had this dive computer now for about a year, and this is the third one. It's already been replaced twice under warranty because a pressure sensor is broken. Now, if you're an occasional diver, maybe go on a few local dives, 1 or 2 dive holidays a year, and you do less than 50 dives, then you should be okay for many years, by which time you'll probably want to replace the dive computer anyway. But if you, like me, and dive 300 plus dives a year, then the reliability really isn't up to your requirements. So I would suggest looking at a different dive computer. The other biggest thing really is the cost of replacing the battery. Now, it is possible to replace the battery at the back, so you have to unscrew the back and replace a battery yourself. If you want to do that, then there's a kit available, or you can buy the batteries themselves. The kit's probably better because you can replace the O-ring at the same time. But if you're going to send it away to be replaced, you're going to have to pay a lot of money and lose your dive computer for a period of time. So you better have a backup if you're diving on a regular basis. Other things that aren't so good, well, the timer, when I try to use the timer underwater to time something, it's not so easy to use. This surface here is plastic and you can see the light reflecting off it. That's very easy to scratch, although you can buy a replacement for this and replace it. The other thing is that's relevant to all Suunto dive computers. If you ignore the deco warnings, then you're not going to be able to use your computer for diving for 48 hours. And I actually think that's a good thing because it means that you avoid deco or follow the recommendations for deco diving and do the required stops. So, final thoughts for the Suunto Vyper. I think it's very easy to use. It has good functionality. The main problem is the reliability of the pressure sensor. But if you don't do many dives, you do a few local dives, 1 or 2 dive holidays a year, so you're doing less than 50 dives, then I think it's going to be okay for several years, by which time you'll probably want to replace it anyway. If you're doing a lot of dives, then I don't think this is the dive computer for you. Okay, so that's all there is for me. Remember, photography is not a spectator sport, and see you next time.